equity. So ultimately, the fact that you're part of a club, the beauty of it is that you're part of a group of people who aren't just they're trying to make money, but you're there sharing resources, you're sharing connections, you're learning together. Maybe every other month or whatever, you have a guest speaker that comes in and educates the group. So it's a class, and it's a class, it's a networking session, and it's an investment opportunity. And eventually, after a few months of that, you're just going to see great opportunities everywhere, and you're going to find a million ways to make money. It's really a lot of fun to do. Moving on, what's the next thing you want to do? Let me see. Hold on. Open your bank accounts and start investing. So you want to open a checking and a brokerage account in the name of the business. The checking account allows you to write checks and to give money out to the investors in the club who want to liquidate. The brokerage account allows you to grow your money by investing in stocks and things like that. You want to choose your initial investments. So your initial investments might be something basic like, okay, we're going to buy shares of stock, or we're going to buy some ETFs, exchange traded funds that track the S&P 500. Nothing crazy. Everybody votes on the investments, and also everybody should vote on changes in the rules and things like that. It's going to be a little bit rocky at first, but after a while you'll kind of enjoy it. And what you basically done at that point is you created this awesome economic family that allows you to really get things done. I just can't overstate how important it is for you to be connected to people who are like-minded. And what you'll find is that when you're around people that want to make money, people that know how to make money, you're going to make money. Like it becomes hard not to make money when you're around people who are always thinking about investing ideas. If they're always connecting people and they know people and they complement your skill set, it just becomes the most beautiful thing in the world. And that's how economies are actually built. An economy is an interesting thing where it's like when people say the economy is doing well, what does that mean? What that really means is that the community is connected. That means that bankers are connecting with investors, so they have people to loan money to. Investors are connected with their networks where they can find great investment projects to put their money into. Consumers are connected with businesses. It just becomes a great thing. Okay, so anyway, let me look at some of your questions here. Leroy says, we are investing now that we have an emergency fund. We are keeping our emergency fund in the bank with not much interest. Are there other liquid savings vehicles we can use to collect a better interest rate or rate of return? You may want to go ahead and put that into, just the equity market. When people say, what's a good time to invest in the stock market? There really is no time that's better than the other, honestly, historically speaking. So for example, if you went back 8 years, and somebody says, oh, is it a good time to invest in stocks or not a good time? Well, at that time, you would have probably based your decision on whether or not the market just went up or just went down, right? So somebody might say, oh, no, you don't want to invest now. Let's say it's 2012 instead of 2019. And somebody says, oh, no, you don't want to invest now. The market has gone. The market's been on a tear. Stocks are expensive. The market went up, 12% in the last month. You don't want to invest now. Hold your money and invest later when stocks are cheap, right? Now, that's what you would have said back then. But in hindsight, when you look at it from 2019, everything was cheap in 2012, right? Like things that people thought were expensive in 2012 were very cheap now, right? So in fact, let me see if I can pull up a chart of the historical view of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let me see here. Let me see what I can find. I'm gonna go back 5 years. This chart. This is gonna make you laugh. This is why. Just so you guys know, I'm just gonna go ahead and brag a little bit and tell you. This is why I am an excellent teacher for you, because you don't learn this stuff in business school. You got to be 15 years into being a professor to even see insights like this. It's the simple stuff that always gets you. So look at this. Pay attention. So let's say you go back. From 2019 is here, right? You go back to say 20. You go back 5 years. 2014. Look at where that number is, 16,851. Now, that's where the Dow was at that time. Let me see here. Hold on. It's showing, okay, it looks like it's showing the gains for that day. Here we go. Okay, 16,943. There we go. Now, if I hit this button, I think it's telling me how much it went up that day. Now, look at this, right? So if you scroll through here we go. Let's look for a green number. In fact, here's a really big green number, 4.35%. If you were to have asked somebody on July 3rd, or between July 3rd and I guess November 20, I don't know, whatever that date is. If you'd asked somebody on that date in 2014, is it good to invest in the stock market now? They would have said no, right? Do you follow what I'm saying? They would have all said no because they would have said, oh, no, you can't because look at the market. It's been on a tear. You don't want to invest now. But look at this. The market at that time was at 17,800. That's where the Dow was. Now the Dow is at 26,000. So in hindsight, there was no bad time to invest. There was no bad time to invest, right? So if you make the assumption that the future is going to be just like the past, and you know that in the past, even if you bought at the absolute peak of the market, right in the middle of the biggest boom in history, that was never a bad time to invest because stocks always got more expensive. Do you follow me? I need you to give me a confirmation in the chat that you understand what I'm saying. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Seriously, there is no bad time. So I want you to try to have vision. Remember, wealth goes to people who have the most vision. So if you're a visionary, then I want you to not just look at this chart and look at what it looks like up until this point. I want you to try to picture what the chart's going to look like in the future. I don't know if it's going to really look like that. Nobody can predict the market for the future. But all we know is that we can look at is the past. And no matter how far back you go, everything is ultimately, eventually an upward trend. Now, I'm a little nervous making that statement because for all I know, this could be the era that changes everything. This could be the decade or the next 20 years could be different from any 20-year period in American history. But if you believe one simple idea that the best estimate of the future is looking at the past, then you know that right now there's no such thing as expensive assets. There's just not, because everything that you thought was expensive back here, when you really thought 2007 was really you thought in 2007 you were living in the future because all you could do is compare 2007 to 2006 and 2005, when really you weren't living in the future, you were actually living in the past, which means that instead of comparing 2007 to 2006 and 2005, you should have been comparing 2007 to 2008, 2009, 2010 and beyond. So instead of comparing 2019 to 2018, 2017, 2016, I need you to compare 2019 to what you think 2020 will look like, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, which means that the best time to jump in and invest is now. It's now. Okay, so I know that was like a weird, I drilled in that point a little bit extra long. I had to labor it in to make sure I just got it through your head. Some of you may say, my God, this is a simple concept, boys. Why do you keep repeating yourself? It's because the solutions, in this stuff are actually the simple things. They call that Occam's razor, which is that the simple solution is usually the right one. But we overthink things, and that's when you miss opportunities. So